How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today we got a great video. We're talking about Pokemon 151. We're going to be looking at the singles. We're going to be looking at sealed product, and you don't want to miss out because we're going to be looking at the gem rates for Pokemon 151. And you'll be surprised because Pokemon 151 has some of the lowest gem rates out of the entire Scarlet and Violet era. Whereas Paldean Fates has about 40 to 50% gem rates on most of the chase cards, Pokemon 151 surprisingly only has about 30% gem rates for pretty much all of the Scarlet and Violet cards in this set. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to start diving into the data, everyone. We're going to start off with the Charizard EX from 151. People deem this the Sunzard. Now we have that Moonbryon and the Sunbryon, or the Sunbryon, right, from Prismatic Evolutions. But yeah, this card is up 11% since January started. You can see the volume is pretty good, about 2 to 10 copies being sold since January began. And you can see in January this card was fluctuating around $230 and $245 late January. And now it's been continuously rising up, hit an all-time high of 256, went back down to 250 for the past few days, and currently is back up surpassing 256. You can see it dipped right here to 252 literally for a day, but the volume is so high that when the sellers are, competing for, the market price and trying to get their cards sold, and depending on how quickly they need it to be sold, it puts a little bit of pressure, so we get some price corrections real fast. But when people continue to buy these cards at these higher prices, that's when you have these sales and the volume continue to increase and the price also to continue to increase. If we look at the recent sales data right here, most people are just buying single copies, all on the same day. We see 252, 249, 378, 235, 299, 225. And if we look, there's different sellers, and a lot of these sellers are actually new sellers with 76 sales. Some of them have no sales at all. So some people might be saying, hey, maybe there is manipulation going on. But at the same time, we are having just a lot of volume and a lot of buyers because there's lots of sales on eBay. As we could see right here, we could see the eBay sales on Pokedata.io. I highly recommend Pokedata.io. They're just a great source to find gem rates, or not necessarily gem rates. You want to go to PSA and check the verification, right? But right here, you can see just what the different prices are for the PSA slabs, PSA 10s, PSA 9, and you can kind of compare on your own. But right here, down here, if you have a subscription, I think it's like $15 a month, we could see the latest sales. 850 went for an auction, $940 a slab sold, and a PSA 10, 14 bidders, and $899. So market price for this Charizard EX is about $959. And all of these listings, they're from eBay, so Pokedata.io uses eBay sales, and they're pretty accurate and up to date. If we look at the gem rate, I already did the math for you guys from PSA's website. The gem rate for the Charizard EX, if you can believe it, is 35%, rounded to the nearest whole number. So 35% for this Charizard EX. You can even see right here, 16,849 PSA 9s, and then compared to 12,300 PSA 10s. But basically what you do is you take all of the PSA grades, and then you see how many, you divide the PSA 10 by all the grades, and that's how you get the 35%. So we're going to move on, and real quickly though, we want to look at this booster packs for 151. Let's look at the data because you're having hundreds of these being sold. 377 booster packs were sold for $11.19. And so, it's not only people who are, there's a lot of people looking to make money in the Pokemon hobby, whether they've been in the hobby for a few months, a few years. Either way, people are looking to get these Pokemon 151 packs because We had Blooming Waters. People stocked up on those. Obviously, people were even fighting over those. But then we also have those booster bundles coming in. We don't know how much more booster bundles we're getting. And at this point, Pokemon 151 is 2 years old. And so a lot of people are talking about how we might not get more product. And we've already had a ton of product to begin with for Pokemon 151. And so it's kind of like last call for 151. If we look at the booster pack, it's currently selling for $11.36. You can see the market data right here. Some person bought 2 for $11.50. One person bought 10 for $11.50. So, people are trying to get these packs. They're either trying to, rip and get some good cards. Pokemon definitely has a collecting aspect to it and a player aspect, and then the investors and the sellers, the flippers, all of that, right? And so you can see right here, all the price corrections are normally after the announcements, like February 7th. We had the booster pack selling for $11.31, and then it dropped to $10.50, and 99 booster packs were sold on that day. So when we get those news of restocks, we've had a lot of restocks for 151. Prices tend to correct, and then they tend to go up because people start buying the product. The more volume, the more sales, and then sellers see oftentimes, the data for themselves. Oh wow, I sold 100 booster packs today. I might as well raise the price. So we could see quickly for these booster packs to start going to $12 to $13. So if you're looking to buy 10 and then sell 10 later, you could be making $1 per each pack. That's $10 if you sold 10 packs later down the road at $12.36, because the market price is $11.36. And if you really want to be courageous and you want to make some gains, you need to buy high volume packs and then sell them later on. Personally, I might start diving into packs just because if you make some sales under your belt on eBay or Mercari or even TCG Player, you become a seller with good feedback, and then people trust to buy your packs, and they know that you're not really weighing your packs or anything like that. Who knows if you can weigh packs? I don't really know about 151. But if you want to go the booster bundle route, we'll talk about the booster bundles later. And the other Pokemon 151 products, because I think there's still some products like the binders and collection posters. There's different products that I think still have basically opportunities to price appreciate over time, because again, 151 is starting to sell out quickly and we're not getting restocks. We're going to get booster bundles soon, but long story short, there might be some room for growth in those products, because when you look at the prices, you're like, wow, these are only $10 a pack and it's a $35 product or a $40 product. Why not buy that product? I get those 3 packs. I don't have to worry about people being concerned about them being weighed. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about those plays later. Let's go ahead and check out this Venusaur EX right here. $84.76 is the market price, and the Venusaur has now surpassed the Blastoise, if you can believe that. Has a lot of good pop of color. We can see recent sales have been for $81, $99, and $82. The volume looks really nice on this Venusaur. You're having about 5 to 20 copies being sold on average every few days, almost every day as well. And look at this 1 month graph. You can see it's been volatile. There's been price corrections. The price shot up from $76 in January up to $84. Went through a small price appreciation, and yeah, it managed to go all the way back down to $79. And look at all these sales. I mean, 23 sales for $81. And as the price began to fall, more people started to buy this card, and the card is now on its way up again at $84. So it's really interesting to see. I like how TCG Player has the volume, because it helps you understand why these cards go through those price fluctuations. Now we're going to go ahead and check out the PSA 10 numbers. You can see right here, PSA 10 versus the PSA 9. And overall, I have the gem rate for PSA 10, for the PSA 10 Venusaur EX, and there's 7,000 PSA 10s, and the gem rate is 38%. So only 7,000 PSA 10s versus the total sum of all the other grades, PSA 9 through 1. and that's a gem rate of 38%. So a really low gem rate, and you could see how that's playing out in the PSA 10 slab. In January, this PSA 10 was selling for $260, and now it's starting to sell for $313. So from $250 to $330, that's only about what, like a $60 gain in the past month. But you can see right here the history. This is why I love PokeData.io, is that you can see the history too. Like back in October, it was $150. Then in November, $266. So it already went through a jump. And then it kind of, stayed pretty flat for the past few months. And not until January, February did we get into the 300s. So it's nice to see this data because it just helps us understand when are these prices going up. And, especially with Pokemon 151 kind of no longer seeing a whole lot of product on shelves, these cards are starting to make those huge jumps, especially in those PSA 10s because the gem rate is so low. Next, we have this Blastoise EX. I sold this Blastoise, I don't know, a year ago for $45. Market price is currently $84.49. And look at the graph right here. You can see that it went through a big price correction at the end of January from $86 down to $77. So about $10 loss. And then since February started, it's been steadily rising up. And most of that is because of the volume. You're having 4 to 16 copies being sold every few days. People are selling these cards. And as more sales start to show up, and sellers notice the data, right? Like I said earlier, they start to raise the price, right? Why not make a little bit more money? And if people are buying at that price, the price is going to continue to go up. So it's an $84 card right now. If we look at the PSA 10 data right here, we have 7,621 PSA 10s, and that's a gem rate of 36%. So even lower than the Venusaur, and slightly higher than the Charizard. Yeah, so 36% gem rate, $357 is the market price right here. And we could see the recent sales right here, 370, 393, 335 in an auction, 3 bidders. So yeah, so we managed to sell $370 in an auction, 18 bidders. So they were trying to one up each other and get the card, and someone was able to get it for 370. We do have a sale at 393 and 390 down here in an auction. So, when you get a card just slightly cheaper, it does feel good, and it just feels good also it's a lower entry point if you're looking to invest. And if you're a collector, hey, you saved a little bit of money on collecting your item, right? And if we look at January, this card was a $267 PSA 10. And the price of this card has actually been pretty nice and even, a good stable support line of about $250, $260. And now the card has risen up from $250 in January, $260 in January, to now February, $357. So it's gained about $90 in just about 3 to 4 weeks since January started, and now we're in February, right? So almost pretty much $100 gain in just a few weeks. And now let's go ahead as we continue. Let's talk about, this bull market, and when you're getting cards, some of them might be expensive and you might be paying, a little bit of that bull market price tag. Prices are going up, they're getting inflated, but buyers continue to buy these cards, whether people are buying them out to flip them, whether people are trying to buy multiple copies so they can lower their overall average per card. Either way, if you're getting the highly liquid cards, I think you're kind of playing it safe, whether it's a PSA 10 or just getting the raw cards. I think it's, there's concern in the market about like, hey, will this bubble burst? But in my opinion, once we see 6 months of price corrections, like all across the board on all the chase cards, I think that's when maybe people might start to worry a lot more. We'll have more people sell their cards. Prices will drop maybe 10, 20% on cards. Who knows when that's going to happen? We'll see. But if you already have a few copies of these cards and you're an investor, you know, you could sell a couple now that they've gone up, and then when they do go down later on this year or next year, whenever that is, who knows how strong the bull market can finally top out at and kind of be stable for a little while before we see a lot of people just selling off massively. When people do sell off massively in the coming months, coming year, whatever it is, maybe that's the time to buy another few copies, you know, as long as you're smart right now and you're buying a few copies, selling a few copies, whatever you're doing, you just want to profit right now because we are in this strong bull market. So if you, yeah, so long story short, get a few copies of something, buy some and keep some. And let's see how strong this bull market goes. Definitely protect yourself. But let's go ahead and continue, guys, because we want to check out these cards. We want to check out these PSA 10s, and then we want to look at the sealed product afterwards, because there's still a few plays, I think, there are to be made as prices start to go up and before they go up further. So we have this Zapdos EX card right here. You can see in January, this card was still $58. Look at the volume. You're having 20 copies being sold on one day. So, you know, like I said earlier, if there's higher volumes, more sales being made, the price is going to go up. That's how you see in January, it was a $58 card. And then towards the end of January, it became a $65 card. Saw a little bit of price correction down to $63, $65. And this card continues to see price corrections all the way down to $62, which is great to see. It's great for people trying to collect this card or invest in this card. However, that PSA 10, you guys, is hitting $300. Right here, it does say $262 right here. However, if you look at the recent sales, we have one for $327, $272, $250. And when I'm looking on eBay, most of these are around $260 to $299. So if you're looking to get the Zapdos EX, I think it's a strong play to make because it has, you know, we're getting that Articuno and Journey together. So that's going to be cool. It's just an illustration rare. And we already know the gem rate. I actually didn't get to tell you the gem rate. Let me tell you right now. It is also in the 30s. This gem rate is 36%. So only 36% of the cards getting submitted to PSA are getting that gem rate of a PSA 10. And if you look right here, this card has risen in January from a $200 slab in a PSA 10 to now a $262 slab in a PSA 10 for the Zapdos EX. I think the Zapdos, honestly, as a legendary, I think it has room to grow. I think this card's always going to be liquid. Who knows when we're going to get another Zapdos EX. And like I said, eBay, there's not a whole lot under $300. So right now, I've been thinking about making the play for the Zapdos EX. But I'm thinking I'm going to get some more Japanese and Zoroark because prices are starting to fall for that card. So I'm making plays and grading those. And we're getting that card in English in Journey Together. All right, so next we have this Charmander illustration rare. You can see the volatility with all the sales being made. The price has been going up and down by just a few dollars, you guys. Nothing too crazy. It's been going up, you know. We have 5 to 20 copies, almost 30 copies being sold on average every few days. It's a $59 card. In January, it was a $52 card. And you can see right here, we had 43 copies of this card being sold for $56.80. And let's see the recent sales right here. We have $65, $68. So yeah, it's almost a $70 card. Listings show it going. There's all of these are Japanese listings, but yeah, we could see recent sales, like I said, $68, $58. So $58 card. It is a pretty sweet card. Let's look at the PSA 10 right here. $280 for this Charmander, and the gem rate is 31% on this illustration rare, you guys. 31%. That's pretty gnarly. Next, let's check out this Squirtle illustration rare. I'm actually submitting a Squirtle for grading. It looks really great. It's my girlfriend's card, so I promised I wouldn't sell it, and that's fine by me. It's up 18% since January. It was $41 in January, and it had a stable price point of about $47, $50, and now it's a $54 card, with recent sales being made at $48, $64, and $50. So people are buying this card, you guys. Look at the volume. It's even higher than the Charmander at 8 to 16 copies being sold every day, every few days. That's pretty great to see. The PSA 10 is crazy, you guys. Let's check it out. $207. And look, it's actually been pretty stable for a long time. And I think that's probably because this card was already really well loved. And I think it was just already expensive to begin with, that nothing crazy has happened with this Squirtle illustration rare. I do think it's a beautiful artwork by Mitsuhiro Arita. And so really famous Charizard artist, and he has the Squirtle, and he also has the Blastoise and Wartortle in this set. But the gem rate, let's talk about the gem rate. The Squirtle is a 34% gem 10, or 34% gem rate of 10. So PSA 10s for that Squirtle, about $200, and staying pretty flat. So maybe there's a play to be made with that Squirtle, you know. Could it fall in the next 6 months if it's been stable for 6 months at $200? Probably not. Odds are I think it would go up. And so obviously you're talking about an expensive card. You might as well get a booster box maybe instead of like Team Rocket or the Destined Rivals set. That's just my opinion. But again, you know, all these cards, PSA 10 cards, PSA 9s, singles, they're more volatile than sealed product, and so you can make a whole lot of gains or you can get some losses on these cards. So always keep that in mind. You know, like you always want to get the ultra liquid stuff, because if you need to sell it, and either for a loss or for a profit, you're going to be able to do that faster. And when I say ultra liquid, I'm talking about most popular Pokemon, most popular species of Pokemon. Next, we have this Alakazam EX. It's up 20% since January. $52 card in January. It was a $45 card. The volume looks pretty good at 8 to 14 cards being sold every few days. I think this is also an ultra liquid card. Recent sales have it at $50 and $46. So, and this card's been pretty flat for a long time. Even the PSA 10 and the singles for this Alakazam have been pretty flat. You know, it's definitely more of a niche Pokemon. It's really cool artwork, but you have to be kind of like an Alakazam fan to buy it, you know. It's different than a Squirtle that just kind of stands out as being a starter Pokemon. But I digress. In January, it was $176 for the PSA 10. Now it's about $195. So it's gained about $20 in the past month. And if we look at the gem rate, it has a 39% gem rate. So also low, and also low, right? 39%. It's probably the highest so far, that Alakazam, out of all these chase cards. Next, we have this Bulbasaur. It's a $47 card, if you can believe it. It's going through a price correction right now, slightly from $48 down to $47. And look at the volume, pretty good at 6 to 16 copies being sold every few days. In January, it was a $42 card, and now it's a $47 card. So let's check out that PSA 10. PSA 10 has been flat for the past few months right here. In September, it was $130. In January, it was $176. And it's been pretty flat for the past 3 months. Now in February, it went from $176 in January to $179. So it's pretty much stayed flat by a few dollars these past 3 months. So it's not the coolest artwork, I will admit, and the gem rate is 36%. Now we're going to look at some of the other singles or some of the other chase cards in this set or illustration rares. And so first off, we have this Charmeleon, $259, you guys, in that PSA 10. The gem rate is pretty low. You have 2,958 PSA 10s. You have 5,068 PSA 9s, 1,356 PSA 8s. So the gem rate is most likely in the 30s as well. And you have to get this card to complete the whole set, right? And so overall, there's just less Charmeleons in a PSA 10 than the Charmander. The Charmander was graded more. But yeah, an expensive PSA 10, you guys, $259. So if you have any to grade, right now might be the time to grade. Next, we have this Pikachu, you guys. This Pikachu is really great. It has so many Pokemon on it. I was able to get a Pikachu for, gosh, I think it was like $25. And now the raw single is going for $36. So it's gone up by $10. And so, yeah, the PSA 10 is $168. In January, it was $139. So it's gone up by about $30. The War Turtle right here, we have TCG player price, $36 right there. And then the PSA 10 is actually going down from $195 in late January, now down to $180 in February. So it's going through a price correction right now. You could see it was starting to get pumped up at the beginning of January, 166, hit 195, and now it's down to 180. So beautiful artwork. And if you're looking to complete the set with Blastoise and Bulbasaur, or sorry, Squirtle, you're going to need this card. And so let's go on to the Ivysaur. I like this Ivysaur more than the Bulbasaur. And current PSA 10 is $169. And it's been pretty flat. Even December, it was selling for $171, down to $158, $177 in January, and then now $169 in February. So it's starting to go down in price. That's pretty good for anyone who is looking to get those PSA 10s and just collect, right? Really expensive though, right? $169. Here's the Dragonair. A lot of people love this Dragonair right here. I think it's really nice. I think it would have been cool if there was like a Dragonite in the background, or just, it is really nice. It's going under this, like, I don't know, Venice, Italy looking landscape or city. It looks nice. But this one is actually going up pretty fast. In January, the PSA 10 was $104, and now it's managed to go up to $148. So it's up $44 for the past 2 months. And if you look at the recent sales, yeah, 144, 142, 179, 178, or 174, sorry. But yeah, so it's been selling in the 150s, the 160s, the 170s. The price is kind of everywhere, but at the same time, it's steadily rising up. And a lot of people like that Dragonair. Here is the final card we're going to look at before we get into sealed product. If you made it this far, you guys, thanks. Consider subscribing. And I'm also going to have another video talking about the PSA 10 gem rates for Paldean Fates. Can you believe the Bubble Mew is selling at a PSA 10 for $1,000? Just a few months ago, it was selling for $600. So is it worth it? I think it is for those ultimate chase cards, because there'll probably be some price corrections in the future, but this bull market's continuing. A lot of everything is continuing to go up. So even if we do get price corrections, it won't matter if cards continue to go up 40%. Just saying. Now, talking about Team Rocket and the Team Rocket set, all the hype about that, this card is going up, just like the Jesse and James from, Hidden Fates. In January, this card was about $100, $96, and it's jumped up to $174. You can see recent sales for the Giovanni's Charisma, $180, $204, and $218 in an auction just the other day, February the 1st. So $180 card to $174 card in a PSA 10. And honestly, the single's pretty cheap, you guys, at $28. The gem rates are really tough for Pokemon 151, the set overall. But if you're looking to just collect this card, and if we get Destined Rivals and another Giovanni's card, you might be able to get a home run if you get multiple copies and this card manages to go up to $50. It would be pretty dope. All right, we talked about the pack. 3 months ago, it was an $8 pack, went up to $10, down to $9, and now it's going back up to $11, $12. So I'm honestly thinking about getting some packs, but I might also get some of these poster collections, honestly, just to display them. I don't need a whole lot of them. I might get like 4 or 5 to invest in and then just display one. But at the same time, I think the most valuable part about this binder collection is going to be those packs, you guys. If these are $12 packs, you're looking at $36 for this product with the packs alone. And look at the market price, $35. Recent sales show it for $27, $25, $35 on February the 15th. And you're going to have to dig through these listings. It's kind of annoying how sometimes it's hard to find the listings. But here you go. $35, $30 plus $8 shipping, $39. So if packs get to $12, you guys, I think this is still a good buy. If you have a lot of 151, that's great. And if you don't, just getting a couple of these for $70, getting 2 of them. And then if the packs hit $20, 246, you're looking at a $60 product. So let's say you buy 2 of these for $70, and then the packs go to $20 each at the end of the year. Let's just say you could sell 2 of these for $120. You bought it for $70. You bought them both. You bought 2 of them for $70, right? If you're buying at $35 a piece, and if you sell for $120, you made $50 after fees. You made $40 in just 7 months, right? Buying it and putting it in your closet, or just, displaying it, because these are sick. I mean, honestly, like, no, just having the starters lined up, it's just stock photos, but at the same time, it looks cool. And knowing that you have a 151 sealed, you can open these, sell the packs later, whatever you want to do. Again, if these are $12 a pack, here we have the Zapdos Scarlet and Violet. What is that? I guess just the Zapdos EX collection. Current market price is $47, you guys. It's gone down from $49 down to $47. The volume's still good. It's a still liquid product. 151 will always be liquid, I believe. You have 2 to 10 of these products being sold every few days. And so there's another play, you guys. Let's say these packs get to $20 a piece. 2, 4, 6, 8. You could sell this for $80. After eBay fees, maybe you sell them for $70 overall. And you bought in at $47. So you made $25 roughly on buying this right now. And like I said, just having the packs, storing up those packs. I think this product will be liquid for the longest time. It's a full set of all of the Gen 1 Pokemon for the most part showcased are in this set. All right, next we have these booster bundles, and you might want to wait to see if we do go get that restock of booster bundles in the coming month, whether it's March. I think in March we're going to start to see more booster bundles. And that's when you start to see these little price corrections right here. It was selling for $66 each booster bundle. And I'm sorry, guys, I got to stop right here. Look at the volume. You're having 100 to nearly 400 of these being sold every few days. So that's what's causing these prices to go up, you guys, is that we have people, whether they're going to buy to flip, buy to sell quickly, buy to invest, buy to collect, or even buy to rip and open, because people still like ripping 151. You're having a lot of sales being made, you guys. That is crazy. 200 to 400 of these being sold every few days. I might even buy some, even though it's expensive. Retail price was what, $25. I should have bought. I remember seeing 10 of these restocked, and I had already bought Sword and Shield stuff like booster boxes. So I was running a little thin. You got to pay your bills. You got to pay your credit card. You got to make sure that you're not in debt. And I digress, though, you guys. I could have got 10 for $250, and so I could have made $25 a pop on each of these. But like I said, if you don't have a lot of 151 like I don't, I sold the 151 that I had. These might be good to sit on and see how this bull market turns out, because right now you have so many being bought of these booster bundles, and you're getting 6 packs. That's about $10 a pack. That's a good deal right now, you guys. That's a pretty good deal. Or about $11 a pack. Like I said, we saw those packs, right? And they're almost getting the $12 a pack. So before these hit, let's say $20 a pack at the end of the year. That might not happen probably. That's $120. You can make $40 a booster bundle. Just saying. And you could just get a couple, that's my plan. I might just get like 3. 3 of them. Keep 1, sell 2. Keep some, sell some. Finally, we have this ultra premium collection. It's up 26% in the last 3 months. The volume, you guys, it's so liquid. Those promos, they're exclusive to this box. Yes, there were so many of these ultra premium collections, and yes, you were able to buy these premium collections for $85 to $100 from Costco's and other places. However, it's going to be an ultra liquid product. If you're looking to have like a crown jewel in your collection, this is probably the way to go. It's $291 and it's on its way to $300. And it looks like it's not stopping, you guys. It's been continuously going up. Look at the year, you guys. That is crazy. It's been continuously going up, $108. The volume has been 20 to 40 of these being sold. And you can see the volume just continues. People are buying it when it gets more expensive. It's kind of a little less volume, but still like 60 to 50 of these being sold every few days. So people are trying to collect these, or they're trying to sell them or hold on to them. Next, we have this Pokemon Center ATB. It's up 71% in the last 3 months, selling for $381. That Snorlax Pokemon Center stamped version is included, as long as the non-stamped version. But that stamped version, you guys, is going for hundreds of dollars in a PSA 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going for $500. So it's up. In January, it was selling for $329. In February, it's selling for $380. So really expensive. Here's the regular ETB that I sold, I think on Facebook Marketplace for $80, $90. I can't remember. Now it's $185. In the last month, it's up 11%. The last 3 months, it's up 80%, you guys. These were available at Target for the longest time. They would get restocked, but they would sell out pretty fast. And at the time, people were like, oh, dude, it's going to get printed to oblivion. But I didn't really see that. I saw, it getting restocked, and I could either buy it or not buy it. But it was still being bought off of the shelves and online. People were buying these left and right. So I got a couple and I sold them. I got them for $45, maybe $40 on a Target deal. And then I sold them for like $90 like a year later, less than a year. And so I kind of broke the rule of investing, Here's those slabs from earlier. The Charizard, like I said, PSA 10 selling for $946, $990 in a PSA 10. And then we have that Venusaur selling for $325 in a PSA 10, $305. So that Charizard is the creme of la creme. That's crazy. That's $990, nearly $1,000. All right, guys, tune in for my next video, Paldean Fates. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.